Okay. Let's do that. We do need to make one. So let's make a grenade. Steel AP. I don't want to make steel AP. Let's make some more steel arrows, though. There you go. That'll be good. And then, actually, what I want to do is make some more charcoal. Anything else we need? I don't think so right now. We can repair, though. Actually, I don't need to repair because we're going to make new stuff anyway. Okay, flatbread. Boiled water. Right, how are we doing here? 2 minutes 50, and we will have 200 aluminium, which will be more than enough, so I might as well wait for that. Coming into lunacy time anyway. Where are we going next is the question. So I'm thinking, oh, pain in my chest. To go down and do these two, and then come up and do furnace lair. Yeah, I think that's going to be the way to do it. Yeah, and then depending on how our bags look, maybe we can go over and do Evergreen Vineyard. That's the monolith. Bear Caves. Yeah. Okay. And we've got 2 silos. Do we have 2 silos? That's a good question. We've got a silo there. Is there another? Is there 2 silos in this area? I can't remember. I can only see one at the moment. Maybe there is only 1 silo. Yeah, maybe. This area is such quite a big region compared to the others. So you can't zoom out too much. But you can just see silos there. So yeah, it looks like there's only the 1. Okay. Right, here comes the Lunar Sea. No, what is going on? There we go, that'll give us plenty of boiled water. And we got to get rid of some here. Get rid. Get rid. And that. In fact, actually what I should take is that. Get rid of all of that. Let's get rid of the orange soda, the corn oil. Geez, we've still got all the tea and the Stardust energy drinks. So let's, and the orange juice, let's take that and that. And you know what? Let's get rid of these as well. Okay. Okay. We've still got 42. We're carrying that's so heavy. It's got to be all the food and drink, right? Oh, there we go. Mixed fried hot dog. Boost to bullseye. Yeah, that's not going to be any use for us. So we've got the fruit teas here, so... Alright, give me that. And... Right, that goes there. But give me that here. There we go, and that's complete. The other thing was to check the commissions. So we just need to craft 300 ammo for any gun. Okay, and then give me some steel SMG. Ten seconds. There we go, that one's done. Alright, there's my loot. Okay, that's all of that. Excellent. Season goal. Which do we do? 10 commissions complete. Nice. So we just need 100 left. Which will be... Deviation 1. Oh, and the electric eel. Yeah, we can do that actually as well. Right, let's go make the new weapons. Tier 4. Equip as primary. Out of space. Oh, what am I missing? Oh, I don't have iridium. But I can do the katana. Okay. Right. Let's put the charm on it. Accessory, ammo, steel. Okay. Right, a securement unit. 1, 2, 3. Don't have any glass. Okay. Right, we can put electric eel in. So let's do that. Let's put in... strange tool. Huh. Let's take a gingerbread house. There we go. And let's take... there's no point in having that yet until we get the stuff up. Right, so let's take a Nutcracker Admiral. Like so. Right, I've got another one of these done. There we go. Stellar Stairway done. And we're nearly at the point where it's locked again. So that'll be locked for another 7 days. Okay. So we're kind of ready to go. Man, I've got a really bad pain in my chest. Right. Let's go over here. There's no... No, there's no reason to really teleport that. Let's repair the bike while we're here. Right, let's go across the bridge. Oh, it's still thingy time, so that's fine. By the time we get there, it'll be wearing off anyway. I did make some more sanity gummies, so we should be alright. Let's avoid him. Okay. Here's our first side task. Interesting house. What the fuck? Rude. Okay. Okay, he's dead. Any more? Interesting place. Quite nice though. Quite nice. Okay. Nice, got a buzzy bee. Got a buzzy bee. Okay. Tyler, how you doing? Good evening. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Just started phase 2 of our Lunar Oracle. Second playthrough. How are you doing? Which I thought there was a gear crate around here somewhere. Was there a gear crate around here somewhere? You're good? You also just started phase 2? You're kind of deciding if you want to continue. Feels repetitive. I guess it is. I guess it depends on what you're looking for out of a game. Like, if you're somebody that really likes to do, like, elaborate base building, like, forget the basics of clearing out the strongholds and stuff. But if you like to do elaborate base building, if you like to do, like, pet collecting, a bit Pokemon style, then there can be a lot of variety in the game. Obviously, the repeating the seasons is repetitive, but that then comes down to what sort of, what sort of game do you want? I mean, they have just announced permanent servers, right? So that's brand new. So there'll be permanent servers going forward. Obviously, if you have additional characters, they're now going to be cross-sharing in terms of blueprints and everything else. You're focusing too much on the combat. This is not a looter shooter in terms of it has looter shooting elements, but it's not a looter shooter. It's I would say this game is a base building survival game with pet collecting and looter shooter elements. You can spend hours and hours and hours doing base building. Like, in fact, let me just get somewhere safe. I'm going to show you what I did in Eternaland. Right. Have you even been to Eternaland? Have you done the Eternaland stuff? It actually does matter later in the game. So if we just come over here a second. Hopefully this isn't going to screw me up too much. Hang on, what's that? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you got to think, right? Every online game is repetitive in a way. Like World of Warcraft, you level up, you repeat dungeons, you repeat raids. Destiny, the First Descendant, you repeat the same missions trying to farm gear. That's a looter shooter. The only time you get variety, you could say, is PvP, but what's not repetitive about going back into a Counter-Strike match, a World of Tanks match, right? So most games, unless you're playing an RPG, which is a story from start to finish, most games are repetitive, particularly the online live service continue playing game, right? You play Cyberpunk from start to finish, but when you finish, it's finished because you finished the story. So most games have that element. I guess you kind of got to find what the progression is for you. So if we go to Eternaland quickly, base building is a huge part of this game. And I know that like every 6 weeks or so, right, you're going to lose your base, but not in Eternaland, right? And Eternaland, eventually, if you've done enough seasons, you're going to need to build stuff in Eternaland to sort yourself out, right? So, if we come to Eternaland, this is my Eternaland base. So what we have here is a giant castle, complete with guns defending the doors, and it's not even finished. We've got a firing range, practice range over here. We've got like searchlights on the top. We've got our main tower in the middle with all our like crafting benches and storage and stuff like that in. Yeah, there's all your crafting. And then in each of here, look, we've got obviously synthesis things and fridges, cookers. Second floor has all the different deviants in, right? And then here we've got a nice little statue garden. We've got our bar area, like disco area. We've kind of got our fire pit for your cocktails and chat, and then we've kind of got our sort of zen garden with our plants and water features. Now on top of that, now you can only do this in Eternaland, right? Because Eternaland you have a much higher limit in terms of how many things you can build. Over here we have our entire little mini village that our castle is protecting, completely walled off, of course, but we have our 6 houses with a nice little balconies. These were just like using the pre-built blueprint, but with some different designs and stuff on them, complete with tower at the end, and then nice little garden out the back, and all this sort of stuff, right? So, and this is not even close to some of the artistic and cool bases that you see people build. You go and look at some of the best bases online, and the stuff that people design, it's absolutely amazing. So this is the kind of thing that you can think about. What is it you want out of a game? If you just want a looter shooter and that's all you want to do is shoot, pick up loot, get the best gear, go back out, shoot, get the best gear, and just keep doing that, go play Destiny, the First Descendant, that's going to give you what you want. That's not this game. This game, has some boss fights, has the looter shooting. The progression is the blueprints, right? That is your game progression. But let's see, exit Eternaland. Where are we? There we go. Leave Eternaland. The game progression is the blueprints, right? The gear, the guns and the gear is actually the game progression. But there's so much more to the game. So much more to the game. It's just deciding, like, if you don't enjoy base building, then that's a huge portion of this game. If you don't enjoy the survival elements, like, I like survival games and base building, Some of my go-tos are like Sons of the Forest, Subnautica, Planet Crafter. So for me, base building and survival is amazing. But I do like the looter shooter elements as well. So it kind of does appeal to me. But, there's lots of people. Everyone's different, right? So it's just finding something that appeals to you. But like I say, I think you're hard-pressed to find any online game that is, or live service game that isn't essentially repetitive. There we go, vulnerability amplifier, and then we're going to go up and do this. Stop tracking. Okay, cool. Not sure where they're off to. They're going to have a good time. Oh, we run out of fuel. You know, and the other thing is to think about is, and I thought about this, like I had this when I came in, I'm like, this is the 7th time I'm playing through Manibus scenario, right? Granted, it's the 2nd Lunar Oracle run, but this is the 7th time through the scenario. So what I try and do now is every time I play a scenario, I try and pick 2 different primary and secondary weapons. So, like, I never play with crossbows, right? I'm not a crossbow fan. But this time, I'm playing with a crossbow and an SMG that I've never used before. And, you know, it kind of gives you a bit more different flavour as well. So kind of think, every time you play through a scenario, can you play it slightly differently? You know, make sure, though, when you come back for your second scenario, make sure that you choose simplified, so you don't have to play through all the entire story and everything again. Yeah. And yeah, the enjoyment of venturing, like, you know, have you found every single riddle spot? Have you found every single morphic crate? Have you picked up all the different weapon attachments, which you can only get from riddle spots or from certain vendors? Some vendors for that need stuff you get out of morphic crates, stellar planula. You know, there's so much to the game. Have you done some of the public crisis events? And you don't even have to be in a warband or a hive to do group content. If you're playing solo like me, if you press the U button, you can see everybody who's looking for players to go and do dungeons, Ravenous Hunter, Treant. There you go. They're all there. There's a group there right now who's looking to do the Forsaken Giant. Yeah. Yeah, I see. I'm someone that enjoys playing solo anyway, and I also don't have the time to commit to groups and hives. You can do base defense stuff. So, I mean, there's 2 different types of base defense, right? So you can be on a PvP server where it kind of matters more, or you can do the purifying of cortexes where you'll have base defense. But actually, with the modern way that they do Starcrom, i.e. through Stellar Stairway, you don't have to do base defense anymore. So the reason I like that is it means you don't have to build one type of base focused on base defense. You could completely ignore doing anything to do with base defense and just build a really cool looking house. You don't have to purify. There's no reason to do it. Because if you just play the game all the way through, you'll be capped on your Stellar Stairway anyway, right? Which is Starcrom, right? Your progression in the game is Starcrom. To get Starcrom, you need Asterism, which is your Stellar Stairway. So already, I'm at the beginning of Phase 2. I've nearly finished this. I just did this today. I can't get any more for 7 days anyway. You honestly don't... Yeah, so basically, when you do your base purification, you're going to get Asterism from the cortexes, right? Though that's all you're going to get, which basically gives you Starcrom. That's all it's for. And for fun, if you want to build a cool, you know, massive base and stuff, yeah, go for it. Like, go build a cool defensive base with guns everywhere. Or, don't even bother with it. Go and build a cool looking house and put your power into other stuff, you know, than guns. You know, base defense is a bit more important, obviously, when you're doing PvP stuff. But outside of that...